everyone. I hope you're having a great week. This time we are going to discuss meditation. Why did I choose to talk about meditation? Meditation is something that's taken for granted by many people, or others may think that meditation is only for yogis, or meditation is only for those who have decided to take that spiritual path. So they don't really value meditation as a practice. So the purpose of this video is to encourage you to incorporate meditation, if not in your daily routine, maybe in your weekly schedule. Maybe try to meditate at least twice a week. Now, one video is not enough to talk about all the benefits of meditation, but I'm going to highlight the recent studies that have been done and the latest studies about why meditation is just as important for your body as exercise is, if not more. Why it's as important as maybe breath work, because the benefits of all these practices are now being discovered by science, by studies, the way they minimize disease, the way they minimize illnesses, the way they help us with our emotional health, our physical health, our mental health. So this is why meditation as a practice is so important for your brain, just like physical exercise is important for your body. Meditation is actually the way you exercise your brain, along with other spiritual benefits that I will get into. But first, let's talk about those biological, physical, emotional benefits and mental benefits that meditation has. First of all, if you look at our daily life, and to speak of something that's relevant today, our attention span has grown shorter. We don't have the attention span that people used to have maybe a long time ago. Of course, social media has contributed to that, the fact that everything has to be done so fast, and the fact that we've become really addicted. Like we are seekers of small doses of pleasure, right? So we scroll and we browse and we swipe one reel to the other, one story to the other, one post to the other, one short video to the other. And it's like one is not enough. It's like our bodies are addicted to this dopamine that gets released from the pleasure that we get from seeing something, and then we want to see the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And so we're constantly being distracted. So with this shorter attention span, we lose partially our ability to know what being present is and what being happy truly means. And so what does meditation do? Meditation helps us to stay focused. It helps us to lengthen this attention span. Why? Because meditation grants you something called mental discipline. It enables you to be more mentally disciplined so that you know how to focus on something for a longer period of time, as opposed to constantly seeking one dose of pleasure after another and having this, what we call small addiction. However, meditation has been shown to also help with addictions that are more serious than this. For example, when 19 recovering alcoholics were given a meditation program, they were trained how to meditate. This showed that they had more self-control. Towards the end of the program, they had very little tendency to crave what they used to crave. So their ability to self-control was better. Their ability to have this emotional regulation was better. Their ability to have a better attention span was also noticed. So this is where meditation plays a major role. For example, with children nowadays, their attention span is very, very minimal. And this is why, there are schools that are introducing meditation to help children learn how to focus, to help them establish this mental discipline so that they can be present in the moment. So this is when it comes to the first benefit of meditation and relevance to today's world and to these times that we are going through. Now, the second benefit of meditation, and that's very important, is that it improves your learning abilities. It improves your cognitive abilities. It improves your memory. Also, there were studies shown, there was a study done on a 50-year-old monk, let's say. He's been meditating for a long time, right? And the studies shown that his brain had the age of a 25-year-old brain. His cognitive abilities are amazing. He is so sharp. Now, this, it doesn't have to take years and years and years. Meditation was introduced to a group of people over a period of 8 weeks. And those who are meditating over a period of 8 weeks, right, total beginners, they started meditating. And towards the end of the program, it showed that meditation has increased the gray matter in the brain in 5 different regions. What is gray matter? Gray matter is made of cellular bodies. And what does the presence of gray matter means? It's the presence of this tissue means that these areas of the brain are functioning better. They're becoming really good at what they're supposed to be good at. And when it came to meditation, the gray matter was shown to increase in areas that are related to learning, related to cognitive abilities, related to emotional regulation, and related to memory. So meditation is really important because it helps prevent things like cognitive aging. It helps prevent things like Alzheimer's. And there are so many studies to back that up. When it comes to gray matter, also keep in mind that in areas in the brain where there's less gray matter density, for example, the amygdala, which is in charge of stress and fear and regulating and blood pressure, high blood pressure. So if there's less gray matter in the amygdala, that means we have less fear. That means we have less stress. That means our blood pressure is better regulated. And this is what meditation contributes to. And this is backed up by science, right? So now, to understand how meditation actually improves your cognitive abilities and how meditation combats the aging process. Meditation can actually help probably reverse aging at some point, but I know for a fact that it helps slow down aging. This is what the science has shown so far. And why? To understand this, we have to think of, I'll give the example of our chromosomes. And this is a beautiful thing that was discovered. So let's say your chromosomes are like your shoelaces, and at the end of the chromosomes, there's something called telomeres. Telomeres are like the little plastic caps at the end of your shoelaces. So what happens is that as you grow older, as the cell starts, the cell grows older because these protective layers at the end of the chromosomes, these telomeres, they start becoming shorter and shorter. And this is how we age. This is how the cell starts to age every time it replicates itself. The telomeres are not replicated as well. They're replicated a bit smaller, and so they get shorter and shorter and shorter. So this is what happens when we're aging. Our telomeres are getting shorter, and this is responsible for the aging of our cells. Meditation has shown to slow down the shortening of the telomeres. More so, what it does is that it induces the production of an enzyme called telomerase, which is not usually produced. What telomerase does, it helps rebuild the telomeres of our cells. So this way, the aging process is really slowed down because those plastic caps at the end of your shoelaces, they're not wearing out. They're staying there. They're staying there to protect the shoelace. They're protecting the chromosome. They're not growing shorter. They're not rusty, right? So what happens is that your cells are protected. And this is why you see those monks who've meditated for years. They really look very young. Some of them look very, very young. So this is what meditation does, and this is now backed up by the latest research. It really combats the aging process, protects those telomeres of your chromosomes, rebuilds them so that they become, longer again. So it's not only about preventing telomeres from becoming shorter, but actually contributing to rebuilding them, which is amazing. So they've done also another study when it comes to cancer survivors, and they found out that cancer survivors who meditated started having longer telomeres because of reduced stress, and so their ability to heal was much faster. And this is why meditation is magical. Meditation helps raise your confidence levels. It helps you raise your creativity. It helps you have more self-control because it raises your levels of self-awareness, and it increases your ability to emotionally regulate. So you become a master of your emotions. I'm not saying that only meditation is going to do that, but it's a big contributor, and it's a major game changer. And that's why when you're undergoing any program of self-development, When that's combined with spiritual development, then you'll have the best results, because you're getting the best out of the psychology of things, and you're getting the best out of the spiritual aspect and the spiritual approach. And meditation is a key component. To talk about the additional benefits of meditation, I want to mention this amazing study that was also done on 2,200 adults. There was a scientific paper that was published, and the title was "A Wandering Mind is an Unhappy Mind." So a wandering mind is an unhappy mind. And it was a study that was done to show whether people are happy or not when they're doing what they're doing. So this is what they've done. They brought 2,200 adults. That was the study, covered 2,200 adults. And they were told that they were going to be pinged on their phones several times a day. And they would be asked, what are you doing and how do you feel, right? So what are you doing? And like, what is it that you're performing? Whether they're working or relaxing or self-care or grooming or watching TV. And how do they feel while they're doing that task at hand, whatever that may be. So the results have shown that half of that sample, and their ages were, the average age was 34, some were older, some were younger, and it included men and women. So half of these have said that their minds were wandering. They were thinking about other things while they were working, or while they were relaxing, or while they were doing whatever it is that we're doing. So their minds were always somewhere else. They were always having other thoughts. And what did the results of this study show? The results of this study have shown that those people, that sample, more than half of them, who said their minds were somewhere else, reported that they were not happy. So regardless of the quality of the thoughts they were having at the time, let's say you're working, but your mind is thinking of something else, whether that's in the past or in the future, then you tend to be unhappy. The wandering mind is an unhappy mind, and this was reported as a result of this study. So while they're working, or while people are relaxing, or while they're watching television, whatever it is that people were doing in that study, that sample, more than half of them were not actually present. They were not actually there. They were somewhere else. They were thinking, whether they were thinking happy thoughts or unhappy thoughts, it didn't matter. Because they reported that they are generally unhappy, that they didn't feel good. And what does that tell you? And how is this related to meditation? It tells you that when we're not totally present while we're doing whatever it is that we're doing, while we're performing that task at hand, or even if it's relaxing, if you're relaxing but you're not really there with your body, you're not in the moment, then you tend to be more unhappy, because your mind is wandering. Your mind is not capable of being present with you. The benefits of meditation, and how is this relevant, is that meditation enables you to be in the present moment, which means it enables you to learn how to live the now, so that your mind does not wander to the past. It doesn't wander to the future. It doesn't wander to things that you wish you had but you aren't having. Think of it when you're going through a happy moment with your friends. Just make sure, like you see many people on their phones. You're in a gathering, when you go out with a bunch of friends and people are on their phones, it's like they're there, but they're not really there. It's like we're unable to enjoy the present moment, to be fully and really, really present. Think about this for a moment. So this is where meditation helps, because it grants you the mental discipline. It enables you to be here in the now. And this is a very important thing to have in our lives, because it's a big determiner of it's a big predictor of how happy we can be. And this is why meditation contributes to actually higher levels of happiness. It's a key contributor to being able to experience happiness. Now, there's another way in which this can be approached from a spiritual perspective, right? When you go in during meditation, when you go in and you're capable of connecting with your true nature, when you realize you're not just the body and you're not just the emotions and you're not just the thoughts, it's like being able to watch yourself from above. You become the observer. And when you're the observer, there are no thoughts. You're just witnessing what's happening. So you are fully present in the moment because time is not really a factor anymore. And this is how you're capable of looking at problems as just little things. They're not these major obstacles anymore because you're seeing them for what they truly are. And a beautiful example that was given about this by an amazing guru was that, if you're stuck in traffic, you're going to complain about the traffic and you're going to whine about the traffic and you're going to feel anxious and stressed. However, if you go on an airplane and you fly above and you see the traffic from above, you might look at it and say, wow, this looks like an amazing pattern. Wow, this shape that the cars do looks really nice, even though they're in traffic, right? But from above, you don't feel the anxiety, although it's the same traffic, but you're seeing it from a different perspective. So it's the same with meditation. By meditation, when it connects you to your truth, time and place and space are not factors anymore. So by being fully present, you are connecting to your true nature, which transcends time and space, and you're able to rise above your problems, and you're able to tap into ecstasy, you're able to tap into joy, you're able to tap into these higher vibrations. And why do you want to tap into ecstasy and joy? What it does is that it enables us to be ourselves more and more. It enables us to be our authentic selves. Think about that. How many people can you really be yourself with? How many people do you dare to express your happiness with? Very few people. For many of us, we don't allow ourselves to be happy with that many people. Why? Because we always have our guards up. But when you're feeling safe, then you're able to express your happiness. You're free of any guards. You let your guards down. You're able to be your true, authentic self without having to feel like you need to protect yourself, without having to wear a shield, without having to safeguard your presence. And why do we do that? Why do we put up these guards? Because we stay in survival mode. Because we're always fearing. There are they're all different ways of fearing. We're either fearing rejection, or fearing judgment, or fearing injury, or fearing that, we might not be accepted for who we are. And so we do not allow ourselves to be happy all the time because we want to preserve our survival. We want to preserve our presence here. So it all boils down to fear. What meditation does by connecting you with your true nature is that it enables you to see past that need for self-preservation, past that need for living in survival mode. Because your true nature is limitless. Your true nature is not just the body or the emotions of the thought or the thoughts, it's the soul. And the soul is a being of light, love, and power. So this is what meditation does. By enabling you to tap into joy, to tap into happiness, you're given this freedom where you don't fear others, where you don't have this need to have your guards up all the time, or you don't have the need to wear masks, and so you can be yourself more often. And when you're happy, you usually don't worry about things because you're happy. Because these are high vibes, and when the high vibes are there, the lower vibes have no place to be. They don't go anywhere. The lower vibes don't go anywhere, but you're just not tapped into them, right? So you're not tapped into the problem, you're tapped into the solution. You're tapped into the frequency of the solution. So these are the benefits of meditation. Some of the physiological benefits, the emotional benefits. Of course, you know for a fact that it reduces stress, it reduces anxiety. There are also many studies about that. And the spiritual benefits of connecting you with who you truly are. So don't forget to incorporate meditation into your daily routine. If not into your daily routine, maybe into your weekly routine for starters. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer them. And I'll see you the coming Tuesday. Lots of love, lots of light, lots of blessings to everyone. Take care.